How many of you have started to create a magic ring and given up after the first step? Maybe you've been chaining 3 and slip stitching into the first, working into that hole, but it stays gappy and wonky. You want that nice tight circle. I want to show you the easiest foolproof method that anyone can learn and will result in gorgeous long-lasting circles for all of your crochet projects. Once you learn this, you'll never have to struggle again. These were a couple of projects that I made with this method, so if you want to learn how, keep watching, let's do it. Firstly, your preferred size and type of yarn. I'm using an 8-ply or DK weight yarn. Whatever the recommended hook size is, I'm using one that's a little bit bigger just so you can easily see my work. Scissors, tapestry needle, and optional stitch marker. Pick up your tail with your right hand and put your working yarn between your index and middle finger and hold your working yarn down with your ring and pinky finger. Your working yarn is going to be sitting on top of your index finger, and now you're going to use your middle finger and your thumb to pinch. Then take the tail and put that under the point you're pinching to make a loop. So let's start again. Pick up the tail with your right hand and put it between your index and middle finger. Hold down with your ring and pinky, and then pinch with your middle and thumb. Then take the tail, make a loop that goes under the point you're pinching, and pinch again. But leave a longer tail than I left if you're a beginner. Now take your hook and put it in the circle and grab your yarn with the hook facing down. Pull it through the circle, twist and face up. So one more time, putting it through face down, pulling it through, twisting it towards you. Last time, grabbing face down, pulling through, twisting it towards you, and up. Now chain 1 and we'll make a circle. We're going to put 6 single crochets into our magic ring, so you'll insert your hook into the ring, grab the yarn, pull it through, yarn over, pull through both loops. And you're going to do that 6 times. Okay, and that was my 6th, and now we're going to pull it nice and tight. Tight, tight, tight. And then we're going to slip stitch to our first single crochet that we made. You can count backwards from your hook if you're having trouble figuring it out. In the slip stitch, you're going to yarn over, pull it through, and then pull it through the loop on your hook. And I'm just going to tighten it again for good measure. Now it's time for round 2. We're going to increase in every stitch around. I don't like to do a chain 1, but you can do one if you'd like. You're going to insert your hook into the stitch you just worked and make a single crochet, and then to increase we're going to put a second single crochet in that same stitch. Feel free to grab a stitch marker and pop that onto the first one that you made just to make it easier when we reach the end of the circle. But so you're going to continue just putting 2 single crochets in every stitch around, and at the end you should have 12 single crochets in total. So continue doing that and I will meet you at the end of my round. Alrighty, I'm just doing my final single crochet increase, and then I'm going to slip stitch into the first single crochet. As you can see, there's a tiny little stitch, and that's our slip stitch that we did at the very beginning, and we're always going to be skipping that. So it's a teeny tiny little stitch and then our first single crochet. So we're going to slip stitch into that one. Alrighty, round 3. So we're going to put 1 single crochet into the stitch that we just made, and then we're going to increase in the next stitch. So put 2 single crochets in the next stitch, and we're going to increase every other stitch. I like to count the increase in my head as 1, 2, and my single as 3. So we started with the 3 and we'll end with the 1, 2, or an increase. And then you'll slip stitch to the first. I'll meet you at the beginning of our next round. This time we are going to start with an increase in the very first stitch. So 2 single crochets, and then you're going to make 1 in the next stitch and 1 in the next. So an increase followed by 2 normal single crochets. The reason each round starts differently is because if you start the same way and your increases are stacked on top of each other, your circle is going to look more like a hexagon. But I will meet you at the beginning of our next round. Round 5. So we're going to put 1 single crochet in the first 3 stitches, and then we're going to do an increase. So if you're counting the way that I do, you're going to do 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we'll end on a 1, 2 or an increase. So each round number corresponds to the number that you'll be counting in your head, which also makes this super easy to remember. And if you look up in the corner at my golden example, you can start in the middle and count outwards to 6, which means my last row would have consisted of 4 single crochets and an increase. All right, so I've finished row 5 and I'm slip stitching, and then I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to cut my yarn and I'm going to end it here. But you can use my counting tip to figure out how to keep increasing. You're just going to continue adding 1 more normal single crochet, even increases around. And the final step is to weave in your ends. The one on the outside doesn't matter as much as the one on the inside, but I still like to kind of put mine all over the place just to make sure it's nice and secure. Now the middle one, you're going to kind of pull it to see where it's coming out of, and then go into the next stitch, and you're going to continue around in that teeny tiny little circle of our first round of single crochets that we made, and that's what's going to keep it very secure. It's going to be tight, it's going to be frustrating, but this is the key, this is the secret sauce, I promise. I really hope you enjoyed my video. Please let me know down below if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, and I'd love to get back to you. And if you like my little flower tray, I have a tutorial for that as well. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.